right, so got my General Tire teammates, Jason Campbell, Jerry Zaiden, sitting down, and I'm gonna say, like, I've interviewed Jerry like I don't know how many times. I got Jason sitting here. I'm like, man, this is like special occasion here.
Why you gotta pick on me? Come on, man.
No, I will say, I think the first time we met, it was in like the shenanigan field deal at the Parker race. This one guy rolled over going down like the sand dune. And we were running trophy truck, and you guys were, and like this guy rolled over. I still don't know how the hell he rolled over going down that thing.
It's like right in the middle of the course.
Right in the middle of the course, going down this little like sand dune canyon thing, and you couldn't see him. So I crested over, and you guys had crested over, and it was like we bottlenecked right behind him, and literally every car in the race went by, and then I think we started. And it was like, I don't know, it was bad.
Yeah, we were dead last. Everyone went right around us.
Yeah, it was so bad. You and I think, we're looking at each other like, what the hell do we do now? Like. And that was when they started everybody at the 425 at the same time. You know, it was like literally like Jeep speed, everybody gone by. It was.
Oh, yeah. There's the GoPro forward, the GoPro back. I think we did a time lapse. It was like 52 minutes you guys were there.
Yeah, and it was just, dude, it was. You want to talk about a buzzkill, like mile 4 of a race getting into that. It was just
Makes for a long day, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I had that happen like at Baja one time, the 500. It was like 30 miles in, there was a silt bed, and like everybody was buried in it. And then it was just bad. And it's like you're there for like 2 hours at the start of the Baja 500, and it's like, you're going to finish at like 3 a.m., you know? It's like,
yeah,
wind out of the sails.
That's why, this year a lot of people ask, like, hey, what happened to you at qualifying? And I'm like, nah, we weren't there. Why? Well, it's been raining, no dust, start in the back. And hopefully, like, all those guys that crash and roll and create bottlenecks will already be the problem, and we'll be coming up on it when the problem's figured out. So we'll be the guy going around the guy stuck. That's kind of our strategy, right? You get all these dudes, like, flat tires and rolled over in, like, mile 4. It's like a battlefield and a bomb went off, and there's all these guys littered everywhere. And hopefully we're going to get some good luck on that.
I'm one, like, I think at the 500 one time I started, this is before they went to qualifying, I started 3rd in trophy truck. And I got to tell you, it's not fun leading a race, like leading everybody. I don't like that. I'd rather be back. I don't want to be at the end, but I think there's something to be said about starting kind of a little bit closer to the back, because things kind of get to play out in front of you, you know?
You get a little less pressure from all those people giving you heat from behind and causing make you push a little harder than you might want to sometimes.
Yeah, especially on a long race like this one, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, Think if you get bad luck and you hit that rock and you get a flat or something and you got 10 guys passing you. Well, now if you have that bad luck in the first 5 miles, no one's behind you. Yeah. So you're right back and going. You just catch the traffic. So I think it'll be good. I mean, this course is really rocky. The desert's a different place right now with all this rain we've been having. Actually, it's raining right now. So. From the radar, it looks like it's pretty wet down there. And coming into town, I mean, it was raining all the way from Huntington Beach to here. It was just puddles and lakes everywhere. Those rocks are big. A lot of people are going to be having some fun with those rocks.
This is a gnarly track. And I'm just thinking, dude, by the time you guys go, because we raced morning on Sunday, but I'm like, they got, 3 laps? Motorcycles kind of half run. There's parts of the course, but then you've got the afternoon race Saturday and then Sunday morning race, and I'm like, man, that's a lot of traffic on that track by the time the big trucks go.
Yeah, I mean, what's this, a record year? It's like 550 people. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of vehicles.
That's a lot of laps just burn into that track.
Yeah, and when that desert's dry, that sand is just soft, right? Well, when that sand's wet, it just creates square edges. It's like, imagine like taking your Toyota Prius into 6-inch tall curbs. Well, yeah, these are 12-inch tall curbs, and we're in fast trucks, and when you're hitting these things at like 80 to 100 miles an hour, it starts to take its toll, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So I want to go back, and this is actually, you'll appreciate this story. Like, and I know Jerry's told back before, but like I've never got Jason, but like you guys, I mean, I love Camburg, and we've talked about this because like you guys literally started in a garage. Like, I mean, you guys were just kids in high school, like farting around just like with welders in your garage, right?
Yeah, I mean, back in high school, I was making little bits and pieces, and Jerry was into lowered trucks for a while. Then he got into the lifting it and wanted, bed stiffeners, tire spinners, bumpers, and it was just a little hobby thing. And he kept bugging, hey man, we should do something. And I'm like, I don't know. And finally, I broke down. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it. We started in his parents' garage, welding stuff up. Got a little shop, and it just grown and grown and grown. It's been awesome.
Yeah. Do you have like I would love to see like the evolution of like your guys' actually race trucks because like I mean you guys I remember back you were in like an MDR and Rangers and like I mean it's like I would love to see the progress like of every truck you guys have ever built for yourselves, you know what I mean? Just like I think it'd be rad to see that evolution, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we've got the Rangers. We have some cool like photos actually of those trucks. We've kind of stacked them up on the Instagram once or twice. From the Ranger to the Edge. On and on and on. And now we're doing it again with our kids with another back to an Edge. So for those guys, it's going to be pretty cool.
How is that too with your kids racing now? Because it's like you guys have been around this industry for a long time. I mean, you were kids at one point, right? And racing and stuff, and now you got your kids in it. And like, how has that evolution been? I mean, it's like it's got to be kind of cool to see your kids now stepping in, right?
It's definitely exciting. They've only got they got one race under their belt. They did a more race, and now we brought them out here. So they're in for a big shock to see how rough this is going to be bouncing around out here. They had a lot of fun at the Moore race, but that's a different environment altogether. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, how is things in the industry? I mean, obviously you guys are continuing to innovate. You got the race car side of things. You guys also, like a lot of people, it seems like are either race car builders or they've got their aftermarket company. You guys do both.
Yeah, I think there's like a pretty cool change going on right now, right? Like, I think with Toyota and their Pro and Ford with their Raptor, Jeep doing this new Gladiator truck, I think it's kind of adding a lot of validity to the truck market, right? So we all driven trucks. F-150 has been the #1 selling vehicle for a long time. But a lot of these car manufacturers are realizing like making cheap cars doesn't make money, so they're actually doing away with cars. Like Ford's announced they've like cut so many of their cars globally, and they're going more into truck. They're coming out with new Broncos and Rangers, and it's coming back. Toyota has some new stuff coming out. So what I noticed in this aftermarket world is there's the racing side, which reaches a core audience, and then there's this overland thing that they call it now, right? We call it truck camping. It's something that we created 20 years ago because we were lifting Toyotas with shells, and people popped a tent out of the back of the shell and set it up like a normal person. Well, now there's
now we're going to go up. We're not going to go out. We're going up.
I'm going to climb up a ladder and sleep on top of my truck now, but it's a thing, and it's not a small thing. It's really big. We're going to do Overland West this year. I don't know. I think people want to see their truck do it. And I think that's the excitement we feel now, and you probably heard a lot. Like, people are stoked on the kids. We call it hashtag, right, the Camburg kids.
Yeah.
It's back to what everyone drives. It's a Ford Ranger truck, I think it's just cool. It just identifies, and that's why, like, the Terra Crew guys, we got Nick Eisenhower and his brother co-driving with us. They're navigators, and, they're getting to run at this kind of level now, and they're realizing the reality. And you got Chris Eisenhower. It's been a Grove for years as their co-driver. That whole movement, it's based on trucks that drive on the street. I think trophy trucks have become this $500,000, $1 million vehicle. Now four-wheel drive's a thing, right? It's so out of touch for the common folk. I think that excitement when you're here, Jeeps and stock trucks and all that stuff, like kind of making a resurgence. I've seen a lot of F-100s and cool stuff entering this race now, It's cool.
It's funny, too, because you guys, I spent some time racing in stock full. My brother spent a lot of time racing in it. My dad did. You guys did. Like, I know that's a class, especially in Best of That, has gone away. They did away with a class. Like, I would love to see, I think now is the time for that class to come back. I would love to take a new F-150 or a Raptor and build it in a proper stock full like we used to, because I think there's really, I mean, like you said, trophy trucks are getting crazy priced. Even I've got a race razor. You guys just built one. I mean, over 100K into them.
Oh, easy, yeah.
And it's like, I feel like that stock full where you're taking a stock truck, you're putting a cage in it, you're doing some upgrades, but like, I feel like there's a real need for that. It's like, I feel like we're coming full circle here, but it's like, I feel like that class needs to come back now.
Yeah, and that class was huge. What did they do? 10 grand for a win, 5 grand for second.
And there was
25.
sometimes 15, 20 entries in it? Like It was crazy.
Yeah. And that money got pulled and it got put into other things, and that class died. But that class survived because it was like the everyday man. I mean, trophy truck racers are wealthy people. Most of them are very wealthy people with a very expensive hobby. Stock truck racing, or bucket list racing is what I call it, right? It's everyday people, and they can't afford the trophy truck. They could afford to build something in their garage as long as if they do get on the podium, there's some kind of reward. $5 grand, 10 grand a race. It's like chump change for a car manufacturer, but it adds validity to the product. You know, Randy Merritt racing a stock F-150, Greg Fouts in the Super Duty. Imagine if they had a Raptor class. You know, hey, we give 10 grand for the win, 5 for second. You got to be in a Ford Raptor. You got the Gen 1 class and the Gen 2 class.
That's awesome.
I think it'd be cool. I think tons of people would do it. You'd probably see 40, 50 people racing those things, especially if it had to be stock, right?
Mm-hmm. No, and going off of what you were talking about, so I do some stuff with Toyota with the TRD Pros and everything coming straight out. I mean, you're having Fox shocks on there. You have your air desert desert filter that they have on the new Tacoma and stuff. It's already lifted. It has everything that you possibly could do in the Tacoma, the 4Runner, and the Tundra. So I think that's awesome because, you know, Jim and I, we were talking, I bought a stock Jeep, a JL. I went off-roading and stuff, but it gives an opportunity to people who have like a little bit of interest in it, but not the mechanical capabilities to sit in a shop or build one or have financial to do it, be able to say, hey, I want this truck. I can take this, go off and do some off-roading, you know, hit up some trails and not even have to like wrench on it at all straight from the factory.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny you brought up the Toyota because Jay Leno and I did that 2 years ago, and it was the stock. Yeah, it was the TRD Tacoma Pro.
Yep.
You know, and I went down with all the head cheeses from Toyota. Took them down to Baja. We had the 4Runner, the Taco, and the Tundra. And, you know, everyone's probably seen that ad campaign with all 3 white trucks. You know, blazing Baja. And all we did is just went down and had fun. We ate tacos. We drove along the coast. We went down to San Quintin. Hit the road from you know, a Cambro there. Like had some good breakfast burritos and just lived the lifestyle for a couple days. It was a blast. And the response afterwards was, man, that Tacoma's so cool. You know, Jay Leno didn't look very fast, but I'm like, guys, you got to keep in mind this is a stock truck, but it made it around that race course. Jay Leno took it around the race course. That's how capable that truck is.
That's awesome.
And Leno's a car guy, but he's not a race car driver.
He's definitely not a race car driver. He's definitely a car guy. And but it's just cool. But, you know, you take like the Tundra, it's got way more power, way more ground clearance. It'd do way better around that course than a Tacoma would. But that just shows the validity of these vehicles. But how many Tacomas are sold to young people that want to go enter a race? And what do they have to do? A roll cage? Some seats? Wouldn't be that difficult.
So circling back before we let you guys go, I mean, obviously we got mid 400 here. A couple days. Weird that it's on Sunday, to be honest with you. It's like weird. But yeah, I mean, what's, you know, obviously, you know, you guys are in a stack class. How are you guys splitting up driving? How's everything going to shake up? I never know with you guys. It's like, how
I don't think anyone ever knows.
No, it's, what do you guys, like, draw straws or something like that? It's like, hey, I think we're going to.
I think I'm going to start and, you know, try to do the first 2 and then let Jerry do the last one and see how it goes. But
you see Jason right now, what he's wearing?
Yeah.
It's hard to drive at night when you wear glasses. Now, so the kids are actually doing the morning race, and Jason came up with a great idea because there's 3 boys and 2 laps. But when you look at the pits, like every 2 stops is about 90 miles. So his youngest son, who's 15, Corey, he's going to go from the start to pit B. His oldest is going to jump in at B, come into main, swap co-drivers because we got Nick doing the first lap to see the course. Then Chris is going to jump in. Cody's going to go to pit A. My son's going to come in and go to the finish. And probably by the time they finish, Jason's going to be off the line and in 6,100. I think we got about 2:30 start. It should take us about 7-8 hours. So we'll be well into the night, 9-10 o'clock at night. Put those rigid lights to the test. And
got the sponsor plug right in
there.
Yeah,
got to throw that in. But no, it's really fun. Like, that's what I really liked about the new format of starting in the afternoon is now, like, lighting companies are some of the biggest sponsors out there, right? Yeah. And it's really cool to be able to actually showcase their product at a few races a year now, not just the Vegas to Reno race.
Yeah, and, you know, like you said, it's actually, they're shaking it up a bit, and Parker's another one like that. I know even on the UTV side, they threw in like a night race at Laughlin, you know, for lighting companies and stuff. So, yeah, it's there because there for a while, it was like lighting companies, I felt like they were like kind of isolated. They're like, oh, yeah, we can do the 500 and the 1,000.
Exactly. Vegas to Reno. I mean, I remember, what was it, 2007? We did the first full season on our own in our old Ranger Edge, and the first year of 7,200 being a opened up class. And, you know, we never really got to use the lights. You know, we got to use them if we had problems in the day. That's when we got to use them. And then Vegas to Reno. But now it's cool because Parker, they start later in the day. Mint, we start later in the day. Vegas to Reno, and yeah, it's a good time.
Awesome, guys. Well, good catching up. Always fun, and good luck this weekend. Hopefully, we'll see those General Tires on top of the box. I know they would love it.
They would love it. We're gonna do our best.